I was brought to my office by Miss O at the beginning of 8th period. I greeted her and told her about the sign up for the talent show. I seemed very excited, and she asked me if I am thinking about participating. I said yes, and stated that I would sing with someone. I asked who, and I replied that I don't know yet. She asked me which song I might sing, and I don't know yet either. I then stated that this is the first talent show of the year and that I may be nervous. She asked me what I could do when nervous, and I replied with take deep breaths, don't give up, plenty of rest, and go to bed at 8. She asked me if the date was chosen yet, and I replied met with May. She doesn't think the exact date was released yet. I then asked when she saw my friend Emily Hess last in her room, and she asked me if I knew the answer. I stated Tuesday for group. She told me that's correct, and I then listed other girls part of the lunch group. I then asked why I wasn't in part of that group, and she told me I thought it wasn't necessary for me to go at all this time. I was unconcerned, and we moved to a new topic. I then stated that I got a 100 on my social studies test today. She praised me for the accomplishment and asked what the test was about. She stated progressive error. She asked me if studying my flashcards on Monday during the after-school program was of help of me. I replied yes and stated that I study a lot with Miss Nislow and Miss Wilson. I smiled and she asked how I felt. I said good. And she pointed out that after appropriate feeling for this situation is being proud of oneself. And that feeling good about a good grade means that I am proud of my accomplishment. I then noticed that she has a pen cap in her mouth, and I said loudly, take the pen cap out of your mouth, while waving a finger at me. She asked me if there was a nicer way to ask her, and I apologized and said, Miss Funk, could you please take your pen cap out of your mouth? It is inappropriate. She praised me for the appropriate reply. I then asked to draw on a board, and I drew the number 93 over and over again. She asked me if the number resembled anything, and I said no. While I drew, she asked me what I did last weekend, and I had any plans for this upcoming weekend. I was very descriptive, and she could tell that I was occupied drawing. She asked me to finish drawing so I could focus on the conversation. I cleaned the board quickly and sat down again. She then asked me if I was giving Vincent Marciano, the Puffle, the needed personal space on the bus and in the hallways. I said yes, and she praised. Miss Kleinman supported my statement. I told her that I sat next to him on the bus today and I was friendly with him. I then said, I listen, he's my friend. I then also stated that I am doing fine in gym and I am good at being patient. I then mentioned I made 2 new girlfriends today during lunch. It was Allison McCutcheon and Claire Murphy. She asked me how I met them, and I stated that I walked up to their table. She asked me what I said to them, and I replied, who is that girl over there? She pointed out that when walking up to someone I don't know, that I need to introduce myself first. I said I knew that. She then asked me what would have been a better statement or question. I replied, hi, my name is Ariana, and I haven't seen you before. What's your name? We role played for a few minutes until I then noticed the new family project flyer on her table. I excitedly told her what date the spring program would begin again and who my friends would attend. She then asked which activities at Family Project I liked and listed art, sports like basketball, and hanging out with friends. She asked me to be more specific what hanging out meant, but I suddenly switched topics, stating which two students are not in school today. She asked me to look in her face to read her facial expression, and she told me that my son topic change confused her as she expected a reply to her question. I apologized and then stated having fun. She thanked me and we then walked to the testing room to meet Miss O. Today I had difficulties walking next to her and tried to rush ahead, knowing that the bell would ring any moment.